It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Bradley Meyer of Okoboji Wellness Clinic. Good morning, Dr. Meyer.
Good morning, Dave.
Well, we got lots to talk about, as always. We're going to talk a patient success story here. A young man that really had some skin issues.
Yes, again, I love the hope stories and the success stories because we don't hear enough of them, especially in medicine. It feels like it's, we kick the can down the road, and those different pharmaceuticals, do they really make us feel all that much better? In some cases, they may, but in many cases, they're just kind of managing that blood pressure, and people don't notice any change or much feel any different on it. So again, there's a time and a place for those pharmaceuticals, but it is so rewarding to be part of the journey of people's lives. They are placing their trust in us here at the Okoboji Wellness Clinic, our team, with things that are, we always talk about the quality of life issue. And for this young man, he's around 7 or 8, and he absolutely is just covered in a rash, a horrible rash for 2 to 3 months straight. And, the way that we approach these rashes, many times we start looking at environmental allergies. That's kind of, did we buy the wrong detergent, or, was it a cat or a dog? And all those things are possibilities. But one of the things that is really missed a lot of times is, what is the intake? What are we eating? And we are eating a lot of stuff right now in this day and age it doesn't have the nutrient density that it used to, and a lot of things that we buy and eat are highly processed and inflammatory to our body. And so over time, we've got this gluten thing, which is a protein, a wheat protein that you can find in bread, pasta. And boy, oh boy, can that be highly inflammatory and lead to a lot of problems for a lot of people. And so a lot of times what's going on the outside, meaning the skin, is going on the inside. And so what's happening in that digestive tract? That's what I want to know. And typically, when you've got a rash, this is something, again, a time and a place to tackle something with a steroid cream, and something that's going to put on that skin to knock down that inflammation. But that again, it's more of a Band-Aid. It may provide a little bit of relief, and then there's going to be risks with side effects on that. But that's in the end. If you've got, let's say, you got some poison ivy in the summertime, you're going to there's time you're going to probably need to go get your cortisone cream. But there are other holistic natural alternatives to that. There always is. But that used to be kind of my MO. Somebody's got a rash, a lot of times trying to figure out what it was caused from, really hard, and let's put you on an antihistamine like a Zyrtec or a Claritin, and let's put you on a steroid cream. And then, that might get over it, but then they just keep getting flares and flares. It keeps going away, coming back, going away, coming back. And this young man, 2 to 3 months straight, and he was miserable, keeping him up at night, itching. And this was again an intake thing, as we figured out. And so I asked them to restrict or remove gluten specifically from his diet, and that was a game changer. I also recommended dairy. For some people, dairy can inflame as well. It can be a gluten mimic, and the body thinks it's gluten. This isn't everybody, but it's something to think about if you're inflamed or you've got a rash. And so it was pretty incredible. We got him on a protocol, natural homeopathic protocol, supplement that we provide here at the clinic to help work on repairing that gut, because if that gluten is down there inflaming the small intestine, it's like having a skinned knee in the intestine. And if you remove the gluten, we got to work to heal that gut as well. Some of the body does that on the own, but we speed it up with some of the certain recommendations and supplements and herbals and such that I might recommend. And literally, this young man, in a matter of a few days to a week, didn't need steroids. It saved him a visit to the allergist where they were going to, get lots of blood and poke him and potentially end up on allergy shots at some point. And it was just a simple correction for him with gluten. And so that's what's so exciting when we have these little big things that folks can come into the clinic and what is your why? What is the thing? Do you feel as good as you want to feel? Is a question I often am going to ask the guests that come in. And what are your top 3 or 5 areas that we want to work on to get you feeling better? Because ultimately, whether or not it's a gluten issue or it's some other path that's getting sideways in your body, we don't want to just ignore it, because the longer we ignore it, then it can turn into bigger problem as we go down the road. And it's easier to correct these things in the brain like memory, things with autoimmune disorders, thyroid, chronic pain, inflammation, fibromyalgia that may eventually turn into rheumatoid arthritis. If we get those within the first 5 to 10 years, even sooner than that, of symptom onset, Dave, we are in a good spot to get the body back on a healing pathway. So let's look for the root cause.
Yeah, and this is really speaking about what your mission is at Okoboji Wellness Clinic. It's those expanded appointment times to where you can peel the layers of the onion back, because in a general clinic setting, like you said, this young man's going to go in. Chances are they're going to give him an antihistamine and a steroid cream, might take care of it, but then it just keeps on coming back. And so nothing really got fixed, got resolved for a little bit of an issue for a time, but didn't get fixed. And so before I let you go here today, since we've been talking, one of the things that we've been talking a lot about has been gut health and how the gut responds to health overall. And so I've done a lot of research on this and gut health and inflammation. If you have poor gut health, you can basically almost guarantee that you're going to have some sort of other health issue.
Totally. It's a portal or an entry. And once that starts, so this young man, if this wasn't addressed and this was allowed to go on for years upon years, he's at risk for developing a portal or a pathway or an opportunity for some autoimmune conditions going on. That's where a body starts to attack your own body, the rheumatoid arthritis, the thyroid conditions, the asthmas. And at that point, then you're really in this inflammatory loop. So the gut is huge. You're right, Dave. The other big part of this is the inflammation. There is an inflammation loop that people get stuck in. And that's a big aspect of what we're working on right now with our combination treatments, with the red light hyperbarics. And I've got a newer protocol that is absolutely lights out to help with inflammation. And breaking this loop. Because if we're healing the gut, but this inflammation loop is still going and going and going, we can do all the work we want on the gut, but if this inflammation loop is still going on and on the repeat cycle, it's going to be harder to make headway. So it's sometimes it's a combination of several different things to get where we need to go, and that's why you need to come in to see us here so we can make sense of that and put together a plan for you. So you can take your own health in your own hands and get feeling better faster.
All right. So the question of the day, and this is why we want you to go over and see Dr. Meyer and just have an initial visit and see if you think he might be able to help you, think if the Okoboji Wellness Clinic might be able to help you. Are you feeling as good as you want? Do you get out of bed in the morning? Do you feel as good as you want? Do you go through the day? Do you feel as good as you want? If not, is there anything more important than your health? Go see Dr. Bradley Meyer at Okoboji Wellness Clinic. Now, Dr. Meyer, how did they do it?
They come on board next to Ace Fix Hardware and just next to the Okoboji Pancake House off Highway 71 in Spirit Lake. It's 3305 Berquist Avenue. Again, just off Highway 71. So real easy to find. And it's 712-339-6024. Give us a call if you've got any questions. Have you made any progress what you've been doing already for that big question? Are you feeling as good as you want to feel? And what you've been doing to address it for a period of time, are you making headway with that? That's another fair question.
Sure is. Dr. Meyer, we're out of time. Thanks so much. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep, be well, everybody.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Bradley Meyer, Okoboji Wellness Clinic on Wellness Wednesday.